Welcome back. All right, so some news of the day for all you fine people for your Monday, January 31st. Tomorrow is February. Got through the first month of the year. Montreal news. So Carey Price had his press conference yesterday. Very honest in it. He hopes to return soon to play. He doesn't have a timeline. Basically, it's just a matter of as you rehab the knee, it'll tell him whether he's coming back or not. And there's always the chance he misses the rest of this season. And then, of course, there's that possibility that it doesn't respond well and, it can become a career-ending thing. So he is being optimistic. He wants to come back as soon as possible. He wants to help the team. He is also aware that he doesn't really have a lot of control over this. He talked as well about the amount of pressure he'd been under and going through the process of other rehab as well, the mental health side of it. And so I thought Carey Price was very transparent. I thought he was, I thought he spoke well. And yeah, so I do hope he comes back soon. Carey Price has surprised us before with being able to come back from injury and play at the top of his game. And I do hope we see that again. So all the best to him and his rehab efforts. Your 3 stars of the week. Nazem Kadri of the Colorado Avalanche, star number 1. Freddie Anderson, star number 2. It is noteworthy, both of them former Maple Leafs. Star number 3, Johnny Gaudreau of the Calgary Flames. And, of course, he being a UFA this summer, we'll see whether or not Johnny Hockey re-ups with Calgary before the deadline, what happens then, all that fun stuff. The thing with Calgary is as long as they're in a playoff hunt, I don't see Johnny Hockey going anywhere. I think Johnny Gaudreau sticks around past the deadline, and then they try to work out a contract. I'd honestly be kind of surprised if Gaudreau went anywhere else, but I've been surprised before. So Matthew Boldy has been told he's staying with the team, which is one of the worst kept secrets, I would think. Minnesota would be crazy to send Boldy down. And Kevin Fiala, who is on an 11-game point streak and playing with Boldy, I don't think he'd be happy if the Minnesota Wild had told him otherwise. I do think sometimes we make too much over the 10-game mark. So if a player plays more than 9 games, that burns the first year of their entry-level contract. But if they play more than 40, that burns the first year towards unrestricted free agency. Teams aren't as worried about a guy burning the first year of an entry-level contract as they are about how many years until that player becomes an unrestricted free agent. It's control. We've seen in Major League Baseball how ridiculous teams will be about trying to maintain that control. Keeping a guy in the minors who clearly shouldn't be there because they want to make sure that they maximize the amount of years they have control over the player. So Boldy's sticking around. He makes his money. He burns the first year of his contract. And Minnesota's playing very, very well right now. Of course, Colorado, same division as them, playing just as well, if not better. So Minnesota's not gaining ground on them. But Minnesota has been doing its best to pack away at teams like Nashville, St. Louis, and to prove they're the second best team in the division at this point. Radulov last night scored his first goal for Dallas in 29 games. The interesting thing with Radulov is, a lot of it is bad luck, but he hasn't been Radulov this year either. And he's an unrestricted free agent this summer. He's 35 years of age. I'd be very surprised if Dallas brought him back. I would not be surprised to see somebody else sign him, but it's not going to be a big contract for him next year. And he might be one of those guys who sits out there as a free agent and ends up getting a professional tryout. So again, 35 and up, it can be tougher to find a job in the NHL. I'm glad to see Radulov finally get off the schneid last night. He finally gets that goal, but they do need more consistent, better play from him. And so we'll see how that goes. Minnesota just announced as well, so there's a reason Minnesota's logo's on the board twice. Jordan Greenway has signed a 3-year extension with the Minnesota Wild worth $3 million per season, so $9 million in total. And again, I think teams that are getting their contracts out of the way, getting guys signed, I think this is a good indicator of teams that might be better off next year with the cap, because you avoid marketplace. You avoid those bidding wars that go on when you get to July. So Greenway, 3 years at $3 million each. I think that's a good contract. You can let me know in the comments below if you think that's a good contract for Greenway. He's a good player. He does a little bit of everything for Minnesota. Could he score more? Yeah, probably. But $3 million a year, I think, is decent for him for what he brings to the team. For Toronto, Jake Muzzin will not be playing before the All-Star break, and it's more of a cautionary thing. So they want to make sure that when he comes back, he's 100%. He's coming back from a concussion. So basically, they're just giving him a little bit of time, and then after the All-Star break, they'll ramp up his workouts and look to get him back into the lineup. So I think it's more of a, we don't want to have him play the last couple of games before the All-Star break and potentially end up having a setback. So we'll just put that on hold. Toronto is not in any position to panic right now. Even if they were to lose both of the games going in, going into the break, they're still in really good shape. So for Toronto, they do have the luxury of being able to tell a guy who might be able to come back and play a little bit sooner, you know what? We're going to let you rest a little bit longer and we'll bring you in later. Sad news out of New Jersey, Lindy Ruff is going to miss the next 2 games behind the bench due to his father's passing. So my condolences to Lindy Ruff, to his family and friends as well. It's never easy. Doesn't matter how old you are. It's never easy to lose a parent. And so for Lindy Ruff, the next 2 games, Ellen Nasruddin's going to be behind the bench for New Jersey. So hopefully all is well with him, and take care of what you gotta, and then come back. Vancouver making news that wouldn't have been news as recently as a couple weeks ago. Spencer Martin getting sent back to the AHL. I've seen a lot of fans saying, well, he should stay up and they should get rid of Halak. The thing is, A, Halak starts tonight. B, Bruce Boudreau, when asked, has said that Demko and Halak are both NHL goaltenders. He admires what Martin was able to do, but Halak is top tier netminder. Halak also has a no movement clause, so they can't waive him. They can't send him down to the AHL, and if they want to trade him, he has to say okay and waive his no movement clause. So the idea of moving Halak, because I see that out there a lot, it's not that easy, because he has full power to stop any trade that might take place before it happens. And for Spencer Martin, again, I'm glad he came up. I'm glad he had a few good games. And it does not necessarily mean that a goaltender is going to be a star at the NHL level or anything like that. It's because there's, and I mean, I've done videos on this before. There are definitely occasions where a goaltender will come up and play well, and then teams end up getting a book on that goaltender. They figure out where there's a weakness, and then things get kind of tough. And again, I could definitely do a video on that, sort of the Blaine Locker rule, the Jim Carey rule, where a goaltender comes up, they play really well. It's the same year, I think, for those guys. They come up, they play really well, and it gives you this idea that, hey, this guy could be a really good starter in the NHL, and then it just doesn't work out. And of course, Carey, he ends up winning the Vezina too. So anyways, yeah, we'll see if Martin does end up coming back up, how Halak plays, or maybe they do talk him into waiving his no movement clause at the deadline. But we'll see. It is up to Yarrow Halak, though it's not as much up to the team. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always, regarding any of the items on this board. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happen upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.